Chapter 6. Rifles. If I am going into a situation where I know there is an overly aggressive bear, a properly set up rifle is my first choice. When I say properly set up, one factor is a chambering or cartridge that can provide more than adequate energy and penetration to immediately incapacitate a large brown bear. Another is having a sight that is effective at rapid target acquisition and fast follow-up shots at 50 yards and closer. Additionally, the rifle should have a reliable action that can deliver fast and accurate fire. Lastly, I prefer controllable recoil and generous capacity. Previously, I wrote this section about high-power rifles. However, in this revision, I will include some other options to consider. When high power comes to mind, I think of a .30 caliber bullet or bigger and a load with a muzzle energy over 3,000 foot-pounds. That was the low end of my personal spectrum, but I've since changed my thoughts when it comes to the dynamics of bear attacks and defense. There are two general ways projectiles can damage and help stop a bear dedicated to doing harm. The projectile can penetrate, hit, and destroy vital parts of the bear's anatomy to incapacitate it, known as permanent cavitation. Handguns, shotguns, and rifles can do and have done this successfully. The other factor involved for a projectile to cause damage is velocity. Imagine dropping a stone into the water. It will push molecules out of the way and make a splash as it penetrates and displaces the liquid. Now throw the stone with more velocity and you get a bigger splash and more displacement, as the stone pushes the liquid out of the way with more speed. The temporary cavitation created in the water is very similar to how bullets cause wounds in living organisms. In this way, a rifle bullet with an appropriate mass, velocity, shape, material, sectional density, and construction to penetrate deeply enough through dense hide and tissue, thick bones, even at odd angles, would be sufficient. The ideal is to be able to penetrate and damage the central nervous system from any shot angle. I would love to see more studies on practical materials and mediums that would replicate such penetration requirements. Upon further reflection and scrutinization of real-world defense against bear attacks, I have decided to add a few lower-power rifle options and some handgun chamberings into this section. Later in this book, I will talk about handgun cartridges that I believe provide adequate penetration to immediately incapacitate large bears. There are rifles and other firearms chambered in handgun cartridges that are more advantageous to aim, manage recoil, and provide faster follow-up shots than handguns. Some also offer more ammunition capacity and more sight options when compared to handguns. While these have been largely ignored in favor of more powerful rifle cartridge options, my time instructing has revealed that there exists a great number of people who want a bear defense option and simply cannot reliably operate powerful recoiling shotguns or rifles, and also cannot or will not be able to operate handguns with a high degree of proficiency. This can be due to their size, shape, strength, injuries, mental or physical capabilities or limitations, or a myriad of other very normal reasons. The options I would include here are PCCs, pistol caliber carbines, and pistols with braces that aid in safe and effective firing. For PCCs and other braced pistols, there are many semi-automatic options on the market which are extremely modular and easy to add a wide variety of sights and accessories to. For users who may not want or be able to acquire a semi-automatic option, there are many lever-action rifles in suitable cartridges for bear defense. As with shotguns, your ammunition choice can be the difference between a strong combination of power and penetration or a recipe for under-penetration and undesirable performance. Modern semi-automatic rifles, such as those that fire 120 grain to 180 grain, .30 caliber, weight-retaining bullets with a velocity over 2,200 feet per second, would come to mind as being very effective, assuming a proper bear defense ammunition choice. When considering the relatively low recoil and fast cycling speed as compared to more powerful, non-semi-auto rifles, there is a large advantage in the speed and accuracy of follow-up shots on target. Long guns like rifles or shotguns are typically more natural than handguns to shoot accurately under stress. In the same pistol caliber, such as a 10mm auto, I would argue that a semi-automatic rifle would have a higher velocity, offer deeper penetration with a non-expanding bullet, and be both faster and more accurate to shoot when placing many shots on target in rapid succession as compared to a handgun counterpart. Although a 10mm 220 grain hardcast flat-nose bullet around 1,200 feet per second has much less energy than Magnum rifles, it can and has stopped grizzly bear attacks by providing adequate penetration to disable the central nervous system. So, while I think a pistol caliber carbine and 10mm could be effective, what does it lack over a semi-automatic rifle cartridge? Rifle cartridges generally offer more room in the case, think the shell, for propellant, think gunpowder. This results in the ability to generate much higher velocities than pistol cartridges. High-velocity projectiles like rifle bullets can cause more devastating permanent wounds due to our rock dropped in the pond example. The incredible disturbance to an animal's tissues from rifle projectiles over 2,000 feet per second is not seen with slower projectiles. These higher velocities combined with weight-retaining bullets designed for penetration are, in my opinion, a most suitable combination for bear defense. Rifle cartridges also have a longer overall size, which allows a much wider range of projectile shapes to be used. Many rifle bullets have been tested and designed over the last 150 years to specifically provide the goal of immediate incapacitation to large and durable animals. For example, a .308 Winchester cartridge with a 168 grain Barnes TTSX solid copper bullet is going to typically offer a velocity over 2,500 feet per second and 2,000 foot-pounds of energy at the muzzle. I believe this combined weight, velocity, bullet shape, construction, and material would provide sufficient penetration from most shot angles. When used in a common semi-automatic firearm, such as a modern AR-10 style rifle, that package is going to offer huge advantages to most high-power magnums in slower action types. Note 6. And if you want to get really serious, there are AR-10 style rifles in .300 Winchester Magnum made by companies such as Nemo Arms. Some of these advantages include ammunition capacity, speed of follow-up shots, and modularity for customization. These types of rifles are very easy to attach helpful items to, such as mounted lights and a diverse range of optics. Their highly customizable nature also allows a user to choose and replace parts so they can operate the rifle with more proficiency. Defensive firearm use is much different than hunting. Instead of getting the drop on an animal, more often you will be the one taken by surprise. Shot placement and accuracy are still important, but speed is key. You will want sights that allow you to quickly line up a close-range shot on a moving target. A charging bear can get close fast and is a difficult target. Reliable firearms and action types are a must in a stressful and dynamic situation. Make sure you are comfortable with the gun's operation and how to address any malfunctions efficiently. Here are some important points to remember when using a high-power rifle as a defensive tool. Practice and proficiency. Be sure you know the tool inside and out and can effectively address any malfunctions. Know that your tool works. Spend time using it and be sure it is reliable. Accessibility. Your rifle is useless in a defensive situation if it is not accessible. Keeping it at camp, in your truck, or your backpack is often like not having it at all. Speed. You will want to be confident in getting accurate hits on target in a short amount of time. Iron sights, low-powered scopes, or red dots are better suited for close encounters and fast target acquisition. A high-power scope limits your field of view and is not the best choice for this type of use. Barrel length. Shorter barrels are more maneuverable in close quarters. That length can help you be faster at acquiring your target and getting important shots placed timely.